Mary Tyler Moore was America's sweetheart, a radiant smile, a sparkling wit, and an effortless charm that made millions laugh and root for her. To the public, she was perfection, graceful, kind, and endlessly funny. But behind the cameras, the world she inhabited was far more complicated. Hollywood, with its glittering lights, had its shadows, and even a woman as beloved as Mary couldn't escape the pressures of fame, personality clashes, and human ego. Over the years, she developed a keen sense of humor and a deep appreciation for comedic timing, yet her experiences also left scars from colleagues who tested her patience and resilience. In her final years, Mary revealed the 5 actors she truly struggled with, people who, despite smiling beside her on screen, created tension, frustration, and even heartbreak behind the scenes. This is the untold story of those hidden conflicts and the reasons Mary Tyler Moore quietly carried these grudges for decades. 1. Dick Van Dyke. Mary Tyler Moore and Dick Van Dyke were Hollywood's ultimate TV duo, beloved by millions for their comedic brilliance and effortless chemistry. On screen, they were flawless, making audiences laugh with perfect timing and infectious energy. But behind the curtain, their working relationship was far from easy. Dick's struggle with alcoholism created a constant uncertainty that Mary had to navigate daily. She never knew if he would be present, attentive, and charming, or distant, slurred, and emotionally unpredictable. One 1964 incident exemplified this struggle. A mishap during a complex scene left props broken and scripts scattered, leaving Mary frozen in frustration and embarrassment. While the crew tried to look away, she had to manage both her own reactions and the energy of the set. Despite the tension, she never let anger or resentment dominate her. Later in life, she and Dick publicly reconciled, showing warmth in interviews, but privately, the strain lingered. Among all the colleagues she disliked, Dick's behavior left the deepest mark because he mattered most to her professionally and personally. The experience highlights Mary's patience, resilience, and ability to maintain professionalism under difficult circumstances while quietly carrying the emotional weight of unpredictable colleagues. 2. James Garner. James Garner was charming, confident, and magnetic, everything that made audiences fall in love with him. But Mary Tyler Moore found his off-screen personality far more challenging. From the first meeting, she sensed a sharp cynicism beneath his smile. When Mary suggested small adjustments or offered ideas to improve a scene, Garner often dismissed her casually with an air of superiority that made her feel small. For someone like Mary, who valued respect and preparation as part of her craft, this behavior was deeply frustrating. Garner's habit of undermining others subtly while masking it behind charm left her navigating tense situations silently. Unlike the more volatile colleagues, there was no overt drama, just persistent condescension that questioned her abilities. Mary recognized that responding would likely be misinterpreted, so she chose to maintain her dignity quietly. Their professional paths eventually drifted apart, and she never sought reconciliation. She privately called him talented man, terrible colleague. Underscoring that skill alone is not enough to create a positive working environment. This relationship demonstrates Mary's commitment to respect and professional integrity, and how even talented performers can create emotional strain when they dismiss others' contributions. 3. Rosemary Clooney. Mary Tyler Moore's tension with Rosemary Clooney was subtle but persistent, rooted in envy and professional insecurity. Rosemary, a seasoned star with decades of experience and a devoted audience, may have initially felt threatened by Mary's rising fame. This rivalry often manifested in small, sharp remarks or dismissive behavior that undermined Mary in front of crew and colleagues. For Mary, confrontation was uncomfortable, so she absorbed the tension silently, focusing on delivering her best performance despite feeling belittled. Publicly, they maintained a polite and professional relationship, appearing cordial in interviews and reunions. But the warmth was carefully constructed for optics rather than genuine connection. Privately, Mary acknowledged that Rosemary's resentment made work emotionally taxing, leaving her wary of trusting others' intentions. This relationship highlights a recurring challenge in Hollywood: navigating interpersonal dynamics where talent and success can breed jealousy and subtle hostility. Mary's approach, staying professional while protecting her own peace, demonstrates emotional intelligence, patience, and resilience. Her experience with Rosemary reminds us that not all workplace conflicts are overt. Sometimes, silent tension and quiet resilience shape the daily experience of even the most celebrated performers. 4. Ted Knight. Ted Knight was unpredictable and emotionally volatile, creating challenges that tested Mary Tyler Moore's patience and resilience. His moods could swing dramatically. One moment he was cheerful, warm, and playful, the next defensive, anxious, or convinced everyone was judging him. As the lead of the show, Mary often had to adjust her own energy and stabilize the cast around him to ensure the production ran smoothly. Even small notes from directors could spark outbursts, leaving the set tense and chaotic. Mary's frustration was professional rather than personal, recognizing that Ted's insecurity affected everyone's work, particularly hers. While the public saw a talented and entertaining performer, Mary experienced the emotional toll behind the scenes, carrying the responsibility of maintaining harmony without complaint. Even after the show ended, their relationship never fully healed, and Ted's death in 1986 meant she could only reflect privately. This situation emphasizes the hidden labor often carried by stars behind the scenes, especially those in leadership or lead roles. Mary's ability to maintain professionalism and continue delivering her performances under such pressure showcases her remarkable discipline, resilience, and dedication to her craft, even in the face of ongoing emotional strain. 5. Richard Chamberlain. Richard Chamberlain's confidence often came across as arrogance, and Mary Tyler Moore felt the impact immediately upon their first collaboration. Early in her career, Mary was still developing her voice and learning to navigate the pressures of Hollywood, so encountering a co-star who dismissed her ideas was particularly frustrating. Chamberlain had a way of treating colleagues as if they were beneath him, including Mary, and frequently disregarded input or contributions that didn't align with his own vision. Even minor suggestions from Mary to deepen a scene or improve an emotional beat were waved away, often accompanied by subtle, condescending remarks that left her feeling humiliated. Unlike other challenging colleagues, there was no eventual reconciliation or softening of attitudes. Chamberlain never apologized or attempted to repair the relationship. Rather than engaging in conflict, Mary chose to avoid him entirely in future projects. This decision reflected her priorities and self-respect. She valued maintaining professionalism and focusing on her craft over appeasing someone else's ego. Chamberlain's behavior highlights a broader Hollywood reality, showing that charm and talent can mask dismissiveness, making less assertive performers vulnerable to emotional strain. Mary's response demonstrated wisdom, self-confidence, and emotional intelligence, emphasizing that protecting one's peace and boundaries is often more important than winning every argument, even in a competitive and high-stakes industry like show business. Final thoughts. Mary Tyler Moore's experiences with these 5 actors reveal a truth that often goes unseen. Fame, talent, and public admiration do not guarantee smooth or supportive relationships behind the scenes. Each interaction highlights a unique challenge, from unpredictability and volatility to dismissiveness, jealousy, and unchecked ego. Despite these difficulties, Mary managed her professional relationships with remarkable patience, intelligence, and grace, quietly navigating tension while remaining fully committed to her craft. Her reflections show that the grudges she carried were not born from pettiness, but from legitimate emotional and professional strain she experienced over years of working closely with challenging personalities. Hollywood often presents a glamorous facade, masking the interpersonal struggles and pressures that even celebrated performers must endure. Mary's story demonstrates that emotional intelligence, respect, and professionalism are just as important as raw talent. Successfully handling difficult colleagues, maintaining personal integrity, and prioritizing self-respect often requires more courage and strength than delivering a perfect performance on camera. Her ability to balance these challenges quietly and thoughtfully makes her legacy even more inspiring. reminding audiences that the human experience behind fame is full of complexities, resilience, and lessons in dignity that rarely make them